Hello and welcome to our webinar on Logipad, an in-house developed electronic flight back solution. Before we start our webinar, I would like to mention a few helpful hints. At any time during the webinar, you can type your questions into the question box located to the right of the main webinar window. We will answer the questions in a full Q&A session at the end of the webinar. You will only see your own questions. If at any stage you experience problems with either the audio or the video, simply refresh your browser, which will reset your buffer and should allow the webinar to run smoothly again. Now I would like to ask you to welcome your Logipad instructors for today, Anne Gibson and Phil Dantatsawat.
Hi, my name is Anna Gibson and I'm responsible for the cabin crew part at Logipad. I have actively worked as a flight attendant for one of the biggest airlines in the world. And I know that it's really common that most of the airlines worldwide still fly with paperwork. So I decided to be part of the Logipad team 5 years ago and support the team with my years of experience in the airline industries. We want to help you process the data of passengers' behavior to provide excellent service and safety.
Kia ora and welcome. I'm Phil Dantatsawat and I'm the Vice President of Sales Asia Pacific here at Logipad. My background is in flight operations, airport safety and quality, and fuel efficiency from working for airlines and aircraft manufacturers across Asia Pacific. Today, I'm excited to show you how Logipad can streamline your flight operations and help with your digital transformation in aviation.
So Phil, let's have a look at today's agenda.
All right, let's go.
We will start with an introduction of DextraData Aviation Technologies, the company behind Logipad. Then we will give you an overview of Logipad and the individual modules, functionalities, and the administration. Based on a typical flight procedure, we will look at where Logipad can support you. You will see how flexibly and individually Logipad can be integrated into your processes and systems, how eForms support your daily business, and what role Logipad plays when it comes to aviation safety. After the presentation, the most frequently asked questions will be answered. If you require further information or have further questions, please contact us directly. And before we dive to the Logipad, let me just shortly introduce to you the DextraData Aviation Technologies, the company behind the innovative solution. Propelling innovation, efficiency, and a seamless flow of information, DextraData Aviation Technologies is set to redefine digital transformation in aviation. As the newly established subsidiary of DextraData, a German pioneer in software engineering, DextraData Aviation Technologies is built on decades of expertise, sharpening its focus on cutting-edge aviation solutions that meet the industry's evolving needs. Backed by an expert leadership team and a commitment to innovation, DextraData Aviation Technologies is shaping the future of digital aviation, one breakthrough at a time. Now, let us take a deeper look at Logipad and how it is driving the industry forward.
Cool, thank you, Anne. Now, let's start with an overview of how Logipad optimized and simplified your operations to support your crews, pilots, and teams. Logipad is an in-house developed EFB solution. It is designed to make flight management simple, fast, and smart. Logipad guarantees flexible and scalable information handling on the ground and in the air and on both mounted and mobile devices. It supports iOS and can run on iPads and notebooks.
The first productive version of Logipad went live in 2002. Since then, Logipad has been further developed and constantly improved based on user feedback. We have not only improved the functionalities, but also integrated new technologies such as face and fingerprint recognition. Meanwhile, several airlines, such as Aerologic, Ethiopian Airlines, Presidential Flight, Air Astana, Jet Aviation, Virgin Atlantic Airways, and Silkway West, have chosen Logipad as their electronic flight bag solution.
Now that we know a bit more about the background of Logipad, let's take a look at the app itself and let's see how easy it is to use. After launching Logipad, the first step is authentication. Depending on the existing hardware, the authentication can be done via face recognition, fingerprint, or username and password. Logipad also supports two-factor authentication, for example, via the company account. The Home tab is a starting screen of Logipad, including a news section and user information. As you can see, Logipad consists of modules, which can be selected individually. The briefing module provides operational flight information, such as the OFP, NOTAMs, as well as weather reports, upper wind charts, also including fuel, aircraft weight, and flight times. This enables flight crew to receive operational data before arriving at the airport. The documentation module supports various file formats, such as Word documents, web-text pages, web page images, PDF files, multimedia files, and the ebook file format EPUB. Not only can users confirm that they have received a document, but they can also bookmark it and add annotation. Furthermore, the module supports full text search. The eForms module enables flight crew to retrieve, complete, and submit forms, such as safety or cabin reports. The form templates are based on HTML5 and XML.
Beyond the modules in the application, Logipad consists of a comprehensive backend system in which processes can be managed and automated. Logipad is the data interface between other systems and automates and orchestrates the data flow. Existing applications and tools can be connected to or integrated into Logipad. The Logipad Flight Manager, also known as Briefing Manager, is a tool for dispatchers to see status information for each flight. In addition, dispatchers can view finalized briefings filled by pilots. The Logipad eForms generator allows you to create your own electronic forms with our intuitive eForm drag-and-drop editor or use existing templates.
Time for a quick recap. Logipad is an in-house developed solution. Logipad guarantees flexible and scalable information handling on the ground and in the air, on multiple devices, both mounted and mobile. We improve Logipads continuously based on users' feedback. Logipad is modular. It includes a briefing, documentation, and eForms module, and provides back-end tools for administration.
Now let's make a pre-flight scenario, and I'll show you how we make the briefing and the documentation part simple.
A member of flight operations updates the documents for the next flight in the back end. He flags documents that need to be confirmed by the pilot before the flight and waits for feedback from the pilot. In addition, documents can be given a priority status, version, modification dates, and confirmation status. Flight operations personnel and dispatchers can use the Flight Manager web interface to plan flights, assign briefings to corresponding flights, and view and modify the content of an EFF package from the ground. Even short-term EFF updates before the flight can be provided directly onto an EFB device. Let's take a look at how this works in the Flight Manager. Here we can see all planned flights. The status icon shows whether a flight has been planned, cancelled, activated, or finalized. Briefing packages are provided automatically and assigned to the pilots concerned. In case of a change in the cockpit, the assigned users can be added manually. Before the flight, the pilot wants to take a look at the documents for his next flight. He notices that he doesn't have all the latest documents. No problem. Thanks to Logipad, he can synchronize and update all documents with just one click. Now the pilot has all the important information and can confirm that he has received and read the required documents. Prior to the flight, the pilot receives the briefing package for the upcoming flight. He can synchronize the briefing module with just one swipe. Now the latest briefing package is available. To work with it, the pilot activates the briefing package, records crew check-in times, fuel information, and then confirms the data. All entries made are automatically synchronized in the back end. Logipad maps the briefing process exactly as the pilot is used to from the paper process. In the Flight Manager, the dispatcher can now see that the briefing has been activated and signed by a specific user. The member Flight Operations team checks the back end again and sees that the document has been confirmed. You can see that one document has been confirmed, while the other document still shows a pending confirmation. The pilot sits in the cockpit and checks for the last time before the flight that he has all the important documents available. He realizes that the fuel information is not quite right. No problem. He changes it quickly and sends the changed information directly to Flight Operations. Before takeoff, the fuel data has to be checked. Click on Flight Plan and select Fuel. You can make corrections and enter extra fuel. Additionally, Logipad enables you to export the fuel data as a PDF and email it directly to the Operation Control Center. In fact, Logipad supports data exchange with third-party applications such as the flight planning systems, air support, and Leon software, and the document management solutions from Yonder and Web Manuals. We also integrate real-time weather data from WX Fusion into Logipad and provide an interface to Lufthansa Systems and Flugbrettanda, among others. Let's have a look at how you can manually enter performance data, such as V1, VR, V2, or import data from a third-party application to Logipad. In our example, you can see that we switch to Boeing's OPT application for calculating takeoff performance values. As you can see, the briefing is still in read-only mode. Before the data from Boeing OPT can be imported into Logipad, the briefing has to be activated. When tapping the Import icon in the Logipad application, the calculated performance data will be imported. The data exchange works in both directions, and so data can also be transferred from Logipad to other applications. For example, you can transfer raw summary data of the flight plan from Logipad to MPilot. The crew updates the documents on the device during the briefing, and thus has the current versions for the flight. A crew member searches for specific information. Thanks to the full text search, the information is available immediately. Within the module of the documentation, a complete search function is available. This functionality offers you the possibility to search for complete sentences, either within a document or also in the complete documentation library, within all documents.
And now it's time for a quick wrap-up. Logipad offers certified information exchange. Logipad offers centralized digital information collection. Logipad integrates seamlessly with existing IT infrastructures. Logipad is individually adaptable to existing processes and requirements. Logipad offers role-based management, versioning, and read receipts.
In the next section, we'll take you through the final steps of the pre-flight, into the in-flight operations, and how Logipad seamlessly support that. From offline functionality to real-time device-to-device communication, pilot and his crew can share crucial information even without internet connection. Now let's take off and explore how these features work in action.
Before the flight in the cockpit, the pilot makes final entries. We are now taking you on a flight. Our functions are all available offline. When there is no Wi-Fi available, content will be saved automatically. Once connected to Wi-Fi, content is automatically sent. The plane is in the air. The flight crew notices that the armrest of one of the seats is defective. No problem. They take a photo of it with the tablet, and all the information is recorded digitally. If there's something to report during the flight, you can easily make entries in our electronic forms, and can also add photos. Take a photo with a tablet, and all the information is recorded digitally. These will be sent automatically after the flight when you have an internet connection. During the flight, the pilot hands over the controls to the co-pilot. The briefing can be transmitted via device-to-device communication. Let's see what happens to the briefing when there is a change in the cockpit. Briefing handling has never been so easy. With device-to-device communication, briefing data is exchangeable between devices in real time, even without internet. Different roles, like captain or first officer, are taken into account with regard to the briefing handling, which complies with regular cockpit procedures. Logipad automatically detects nearby pilot devices and establishes the best available connection to sync quickly, cellular or Wi-Fi when internet is available, or local networks such as Bluetooth, low energy, local area network, and peer-to-peer Wi-Fi in offline situations. This intelligent real-time background synchronization enables pilots to enter data on any connected device and have it instantly updated across all synced devices without manual interaction. As you can see, once a briefing is shared, entries made in the briefing are automatically synchronized on both devices in real time. Sections in the briefing can also be added to the clipboard. This allows both users quick access to important information. Not only text in the input fields is automatically synchronized between the devices. Marks or annotations, such as a signature, are also synchronized in real time and both directions.
Time for a quick recap. Logipad's features are all available offline. Logipad digitally records defective equipment or furnishings. Logipad collects data intuitively through e-forms. Logipad allows device-to-device communication.
Now, let's look at the post-flight process with Logipad.
At the end of the flight, the pilot must record information about the flight in the flight log. such as information about who made the landing. This information is then sent directly to flight ops. Some of the information is even filled in automatically, for example, pilot, crew, and airports. After the flight, the aircraft is checked by the maintenance crew. During the outside check, a defect is noticed. The QR code of the corresponding part is scanned, and all information can be recorded digitally. The E-form is used by engineers to inspect or view the status of equipment items. With the supported QR code functionality within Logipad, QR codes on each equipment item can be scanned to retrieve information about the last inspection. Additionally, the E-form will be automatically filled with data provided within the QR code. In our example, the box's part number, serial number, and description are automatically filled. Also, the day of the last inspection and the equip status of the item are directly displayed to the user. After the flight, Flight Ops checks to see if all data is available. The dispatcher checks the data entered by the pilot. Now I would like to explain the functionalities of the Flight Manager in more detail. Within the Flight Manager, you can view all briefings and filter by various statuses. On the one hand, there is the possibility to choose between productive and test state. On the other hand, there is the possibility to filter by created, activated, or finalized briefings. In addition, a filter for the time period can be set. If the filter is set to the created briefings, the dispatcher has the possibility to adjust a flight. He gets information like departure airport, arrival airport, flight number, aircraft registration, departure date and time, state and status of the flight. This information is displayed again in the briefing details. Within the Flight Manager, briefing definitions can be assigned. Briefing definitions define the layout of the briefing, like colors of text and placement of content, for example. The person who finalizes the briefing, usually the pilot in command, is specified as the master user. The briefing viewer provides all details of a briefing package. The dispatcher can make changes within the briefing, and in case of illness of the pilot or a complete crew change, the dispatcher is able to assign the briefing to a new pilot or crew. He is also able to see the assignments, versions, and also attachments, like fuel receipts or any other content attached to the current briefing. If the dispatcher chooses finalized briefings, he can again choose between productive and test state, and set the time period of the last finalized briefings. He can also display all released briefings. Within the Flight Manager, new briefings can be added manually or automatically. Briefings can be imported directly from flight planning systems, and attachments can be selected. All flights that have been planned, cancelled, activated, or finalized are displayed in the Flights section. Again, a time period can be selected for which the flights are to be displayed. Information such as status, departure time, destination airport, and regions, as well as off and on block times that have been recorded by the pilot are shown. The information displayed can be selected individually and filters can be set. In the flight details, all data recorded by the pilot is displayed, such as times, fuel information, notes, weight, and crew information. This data can be automatically synchronized to other systems. A PDF file with the flight log data can be generated and downloaded. Attached information such as signatures, ATIS information, or fuel receipts are provided in the flight images.
Let's summarize everything. Logipad sends recorded information directly to Flight Ops. Logipad can be used by the maintenance crew to record outside damages. Logipad can process, evaluate and transfer data to other systems. Now, I would love to give you a short overview how eForms could look like in our eForms Generator app. Let me briefly explain what we mean by eForms Generator. All the forms that previously served as paperwork can now be digitized. The principle behind it is the drag and drop editor. So you take paperwork forms, recreate them in the app and then upload them easily to Logipad. And of course, you decide which user is assigned which role to work with the form. Does the user get the role of cabin crew or cockpit, or perhaps administrator?
In the next section, we'll take you through the final steps of the pre-flight into the in-flight operation.
Let us jump into the eForms on Logipad. Here we see an eForm that I created for the briefing part. Of course, we first need to have a look at your processes to combine the forms as best as possible. Our main goal is to make analysis of the behavior of your passenger on board, creating the best experience. We need the names of the flight crew from the cabin roster system and the information which positions you have on which aircraft types, for example. We have the option of adding mandatory fields, which you cannot send back to the responsible back office or the responsible person without filling them in or without a signature. That all depends on your processes and needs. But why is all that so important? For a safe and positive execution of the data analysis to make the processes for everybody as easy as possible and as efficient as possible. So let's just jump to the business class. Imagine we could recreate all the data from the caterer, like food and drinks, into our eForms to make the service on board much more excellent and easier. At this point, all flight attendants have a high level of service knowledge, paving the way to the highest level of customer satisfaction. And at the same time, you use the data for your analysis. Isn't that great? As you can see, we have limitless possibilities. With Logipad, we love to make your processes as easy and as efficient as possible.
When it comes to aviation safety, technology plays a critical role in this. But at the heart of it all is the people, the flight crews, the cabin crews, the ops team that are making important decisions every single day. Here at Logipad, we focus on human factor in safety by focusing on communication, enhancing CRM, reducing pilot workload, and improve efficiency in communication. By providing real-time access to essential flight data, Logipad ensures that pilots and the crew have the right information at the right time, leading to better informed decisions and a safer, more efficient flight operations. One of the biggest challenges in modern flight operation is managing information flow. Too much information can be overwhelming, and too little information can compromise safety. Logipad addresses this problem by reducing complex data presentation so that the pilot would have a reduced distraction and they can access, interpret, and act on critical information at the right time. Logipad supports safer and smarter cockpit environment.
Phil, you put that wonderfully in a nutshell, so very thank you for that.
Thank you.
I think we really learned a lot today. So what do you think about a last recap for today, about the webinar of the last 30 minutes?
I think we should do it. So Logipad is a digital cloud EFB and EFF solution that support your operation in flight ops, aircraft performance, crew briefing, as well as maintenance and cabin crew.
Of course. Logipad integrates to your third-party tools to support your workflow. So Phil, to summarize it in one sentence.
Logipad will save you time and money by simplifying your process and digital transformation. If you'd like to know more about Logipad, please stay tuned for our Q&A, or you can visit us on the website at www.logipad.aero, and that's www.logipad.aero.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now reached our final parking position. So from my side, thank you so much for joining our webinar. If you like, we have a small Q&A session afterwards. So from my side, thank you, bye-bye und auf Wiedersehen.
Kia ora and see ya.